Ever wish you could just, like, hit fast forward on that whole movie making process, get straight to seeing your vision come to life without needing, like, $1 million budget and endless waiting?
Yeah, totally.
That's what today's deep dive is all about, right? This revolutionary platform called TurnPost it's shaking up Hollywood with, get this, the power of AI.
And we are going deep, deep into their business plan for you,
Oh, are we?
dissecting not just the what, but the why now. Why are some major industry players already placing their bets on this company?
Interesting.
That's what we're here to uncover.
Okay, so let's start with the problem, right? The one that TurnPost is trying to tackle. We all know the movie industry is massive, right?
Huge.
But it operates like it's stuck in a time warp. Would you agree?
It's true. In fact, the business plan itself even points out how linear and isolated each stage of filmmaking is.
Hmm.
Like you write a script in one quarter, then someone else storyboards in another, then you scramble for funding.
Right, right.
And only then, maybe, do you actually get to film.
It's crazy.
Each stage happens almost in a vacuum, which is, well, it's mind-bogglingly inefficient.
And can we talk about the financial side for a minute?
Please.
I mean, imagine pouring your heart and soul, not to mention a good chunk of your savings, into a project only to realize, like, halfway through filming that a key scene just totally doesn't work.
Oh, brutal. The worst.
Or worse, a creative decision made way back in pre-production is about to torpedo the entire film.
I think what's so fascinating here is how TurnPost wants to flip the script, literally, by harnessing the power of AI. Picture this. You upload your script, and boom, you're not just looking at words on a page anymore. You're suddenly inside what they call are you ready for this? A living storyboard.
Hey, stop right there.
Yeah.
You're saying I can actually see my movie, like visually, before even thinking about sets or actors?
You got it.
Wow.
Now, initially, it's more like an incredibly detailed animatic, think of like moving storyboards.
Okay.
But these aren't static images. You've got dialogue, music, even camera angles all laid out.
Mm.
Then, as you make changes and refine your vision within TurnPost, this living storyboard updates in real time.
No way.
Eventually, by tapping into the latest generative video tech from companies like Runway and Pika Labs, it evolves into a full-blown video preview.
So instead of just, like, picturing how a scene will play out in your head, you can actually watch it unfold before your eyes.
Exactly.
This has to be a game changer, especially for independent filmmakers working with, limited resources.
Absolutely. And it goes beyond just seeing it. TurnPost lets you play around with different elements. Let's say you want to try a different costume on your protagonist,
Sure.
or swap out a dreary cityscape for a lush forest.
Okay.
No problem. You can experiment with sets, rewrite dialogue on the fly, all within this digital sandbox before even thinking about cameras or crew.
Talk about unlocking some serious creative freedom.
I know.
Not to mention the cost savings. That Bain & Co. study, you know the one, cited in the plan, really caught my eye. They're predicting potential savings of up to 15% on average by using these kinds of AI-powered tools. For big-budget films, we're talking millions of dollars saved, which could then be reinvested in other areas of the production.
Exactly. And this multi-cut editing concept they talk about takes things to a whole other level.
Okay, I have to admit, multi-cut editing sounds a little technical. Break it down for me.
Okay, sure. Imagine a supercharged version history for your movie. Let's say you're debating between two different endings.
Right.
With TurnPost, you don't have to settle for just one. You can actually see how each ending plays out, compare and contrast, and make informed decisions without the fear of wasting precious time and resources.
So it's like having infinite takes, but in a digital, budget-friendly way.
Right.
No more agonizing over every tiny change.
Precisely. And because the entire platform lives in the cloud, you and your team can collaborate in real time no matter where you are in the world.
Wow, that's cool.
Gone are the days of emailing scripts back and forth or trying to decipher handwritten notes in the margins.
Oh, tell me about it.
Everyone's on the same page, literally, with changes reflected instantly.
Now that's what I call teamwork. But what about security? With ideas being the lifeblood of the film industry, I imagine that's a major concern.
You're absolutely right, and TurnPost seems to have that covered. Their plan outlines robust security measures, including fine-grained access controls, meaning you control exactly who sees what,
Gotcha.
biometric logins for an added layer of protection,
Okay.
and even the option to manage your own encryption keys for those who want complete control over their data.
Smart. So we've got this incredibly powerful and secure platform that lets you collaborate with, anyone, anywhere, and actually visualize your movie before even stepping foot on a set. So cool. Right.
Wow.
But you know me, I'm always interested in the people, right?
Yeah.
The people behind the technology.
Of course, yeah.
And let me tell you, TurnPost's team, seriously impressive.
They really are. They've assembled like a dream team of industry veterans, tech innovators, you name it.
Like who? Give me some names.
Okay, so you've got Kevin Wooten,
Okay.
the software mastermind behind Outfox,
Right.
a name synonymous with secure communication in the digital age. If you're talking security, you're talking Wooten.
And don't forget Earl Jard from Rainbow Studios,
Oh,
Regis.
how could we?
A legend in the gaming world.
The absolute best.
If anyone understands the power of real-time rendering and crafting immersive stories, it's him, right?
Totally. It's like he's creating worlds.
And here's where things get really, really interesting. They've managed to snag Andy Horowitz,
No way.
the producer behind blockbusters, get this, American Hustle, Suicide Squad, and Triple Frontier.
Okay, now that's a name that
like it.
that turns heads in Hollywood.
Okay, now that's a big deal.
Huge. Absolutely. And he's not just lending his name to the project.
Really?
Horowitz is actually using TurnPost for his upcoming films.
Wow.
That's a huge vote of confidence, not just in the technology itself, but in its potential to, like, completely revolutionize the industry.
It's one thing to have a celebrity endorsement, right? But to have a seasoned producer like Horowitz put his money where his mouth is, that speaks volumes.
It certainly does.
Right.
And I think this kind of points to a larger mission behind TurnPost, one that resonates with a lot of filmmakers today. The idea of democratizing filmmaking.
Yeah.
They want to empower independent filmmakers and smaller studios by giving them access to the same cutting-edge tools and efficiencies that were once exclusive to big-budget productions.
You know, that's what really excites me about this whole thing. Imagine a world where budget constraints no longer stifle creativity,
Right.
where anyone with a great story and a shoestring budget can still bring their vision to life.
It's a powerful idea and one that's long overdue.
Yeah.
But as with any major shift, there are bound to be challenges. The business plan acknowledges this, and frankly, this is where things get really interesting. They're not naive about the uphill battle they face in terms of industry adoption.
Right, because it's one thing to build an amazing platform, but it's another thing entirely to convince an industry that's been operating a certain way for decades to embrace a completely new paradigm.
Exactly.
So we're trying to teach an old dog new tricks.
Totally. So how does TurnPost plan to tackle this,
Right.
Well, they've laid out a multi-pronged approach. First, they're producing a high-quality short film using only TurnPost,
Oh, cool.
documenting the entire process to showcase the platform's capabilities and, just as importantly, those cost-saving benefits we talked about.
It's a classic show, don't tell strategy.
Precisely. And they've brought in, you guessed it, the big guns for this. Remember Andy Horowitz?
Yeah.
He's producing the short film, which means it will not only showcase TurnPost features, but also meet the high production standards of Hollywood.
Having Horowitz's name attached to this project instantly lends it credibility, don't you think?
It's a brilliant move. And they're not stopping there. They're documenting every step of the process, capturing behind-the-scenes footage, interviews with the cast and crew, and real-time examples of TurnPost's features in action.
Cool.
Think of it as a documentary meets a masterclass in modern filmmaking.
So it's not just a marketing tool, it's a case study for the entire industry.
Exactly. They're going to analyze the production data, track the time and cost savings, and quantify the benefits of using TurnPost in a way that speaks directly to those number-crunching studio execs.
Smart. But you know what they say, it's not just about who has the best product, it's about who tells the best story.
Sure.
And it seems like TurnPost understands the importance of building a narrative around their brand.
Absolutely. And that's where their social media strategy comes in. They're planning a full-blown blitz using clips from the documentary, interviews, testimonials from early adopters, and behind-the-scenes glimpses to generate buzz and get people talking.
Creating that word-of-mouth marketing that's so crucial in an industry built on relationships and reputation. But, you know, what really caught my eye in the business plan was their idea for something called, are you ready for this? TurnPost Academy.
Ah, yes. I love this part. Their plan to create a web-based learning community where filmmakers of all levels can go to learn the ropes of the platform.
Okay, so tell me more about this TurnPost Academy. What exactly are they envisioning? So it's like a one-stop shop for for all things TurnPost, right?
Yeah, in a way, they'll have like tutorials and articles, case studies, you name it, all kinds of resources. But here's the really cool part. It's not just about learning the software.
Okay.
They're building a space for filmmakers to actually connect with each other and learn from each other.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. So imagine being able to like pick the brains of people who are already using TurnPost to, push the boundaries of filmmaking.
Right.
You could get feedback on your own projects, maybe even find collaborators for your next masterpiece.
And they're launching this before the platform even officially rolls out.
Exactly.
That's thinking ahead.
Yeah, they're creating like a ready-made community of users who are already familiar with the platform, excited to dive in. It's a really savvy move, especially in an industry as notoriously tough to break into as Hollywood.
Okay, so let's say I'm sold, right? I'm sold on this whole TurnPost revolution. What's the catch?
Well, as we've kind of touched on, the biggest hurdle is industry adoption. TurnPost can have the most incredible platform in the world,
Right.
but if Hollywood studios and production companies don't get on board, it's going to be an uphill battle.
It's a two-way street, right? You need both the creators and the gatekeepers to buy into this new way of doing things for it to really take off.
Precisely. And the business plan acknowledges this. And they've laid out a multi-pronged approach to address it. We've talked about the short film project
Yeah.
and the social media blitz, but there's one more piece of the puzzle, and that is data.
Data. Okay.
Remember how they're documenting every step of the short film production?
Yeah.
They plan to analyze all that data, track the time and cost savings, and really quantify the benefits of using TurnPost.
That kind of hard data is going to be like crucial, right? When it comes to
Yeah.
convincing those number crunching studio execs.
Totally. It's one thing to, talk about creative freedom and cost savings, but it's another thing entirely to back it up with concrete evidence.
So it sounds like TurnPost is taking a very, very strategic and multifaceted approach to disrupting Hollywood. They're not just building a product, they're building a movement. Would you say that's accurate?
Yeah, that's a great way to put it. They're challenging the status quo, and for one, I'm fascinated to see how it all plays out.
Me too. This has been quite a deep dive, wouldn't you say? We started with a business plan and ended up discussing like the future of filmmaking.
It's been a thought-provoking journey for sure, and hopefully it's, given our listeners a lot to ponder as well.
Speaking of pondering, I think it's time for a little homework assignment.
Oh, I love homework.
Head over to the TurnPost website, check out their team, read up on their technology, and then ask yourself this. If you could rewrite the rules of Hollywood, how would you make filmmaking more efficient, more collaborative, and more accessible?
It's a question worth asking. And who knows, maybe TurnPost is part of the answer.
That's all the time we have for today's deep dive, but hey, keep those cameras rolling and we'll catch you on the flip side.